Hi there and welcome back to 355 Code. Today we will be doing the second part of our Blackjack tutorial. If you missed the first part, I recommend checking it out. I'll leave a link in the comments, in the description below. And if you've been following along, then you know that we're making a Blackjack game. And what we've done so far is that we have created a deck using these values in suits, and we've shuffled a few decks together, basically added a few decks together to make a large deck, and then we've created a function which can select a random card and remove it from the deck, and this function returns the card. And you can see here on the side kind of the result of all this is that here we have a bunch of decks mixed together, so you can see we have 200 something cards here, and we removed one card, which is the 8 of clubs, for example, in this case. And that's 5 decks that are shuffled together. So what we're going to want to do now is to actually deal the dealer and the player a hand of cards. Okay, so each one is going to get 2 cards. And basically the way we're going to do that is also in a function. And we'll call this deal hands. And in this function, we're going to need to do several things. So if you want to try and do this yourself, you can pause the video after my explanation and give it a try. And if not, you can follow along with us. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to need to select random cards and add them to both a dealer hand and a player hand. And then we are going to need to display those cards here on our web page using our card model. Okay, so we're going to be using this card model. We're going to be duplicating it, and this I can actually make into caps because this is actually constant. Okay, and we're going to be using this card model to duplicate a few cards and add them to the dealer and player hand. And that's what you see here, dealer and player. And all this is going to happen when the page loads. Okay, so we're going to just execute this function as soon as the page loads, and it'll deal 2 hands. So if you want to try that yourself, you could do that now. And if not, you can follow along and we'll do it together. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is we are going to have to basically choose 2 random cards and put them into an array. So we can actually just create an array, and here we'll just use our select random card function, and we're going to do it twice. And this should give us an array with 2 cards. So let's just call this for now hand. And we'll say that equals to select random card and select random card. And let's console.log this hand and see what comes up. And I'm going to erase just some of our other console logs just so that we have kind of some clarity here in terms of what's going on. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to erase these 2. And let's try, and I have to remember to call, I can erase this as well. And I have to remember to call here deal hands. And let's save and run the code. Okay, so as you can see here, I have gotten a hand which has 2 cards. So 2 of spades and 10 of hearts. And if I run it again, it'll be 2 other random cards, etc. So great, so we have 1 hand. And let's say that this is our dealer's hand. Okay, and then we're going to just do the same exact thing for our player hand. Okay, and now what we need to do is we need to add these to display these cards here under dealer hand and player hand. Okay, so in order to do that, we're going to be using our card model, as I said, and what we can do basically is say, let's say for example, dealer hand dot for each, okay, card. And what we're going to do here is we are going to clone our model, card model, dot clone node, and I'm going to say here true, just so that we get everything that might be inside that node. And then this we're going to save in a constant, which will be called new card. Okay, and then basically what we want to do is we want to say new card dot inner HTML is equal to card. Okay, so we're going to be taking one of these values and putting it inside this this card, which is a div. You can see here, right? It's a new element that's a div, and it has the class that I've added of card. And if you want to check out the styling, you can take a look here at the side in terms of how I've styled the cards. And that's arbitrary, okay? You could style it however you like. Let's see how this looks now. Okay, so I'm going to save and I'm going to run the code. And nothing happened. That's because we need to append this new card to the dealer hand. And as I said, the dealer's hand is called dealer. Okay, so we just need to say dealer.append new card. Okay, and let's try that one more time. Great, so you can see here that now we have 2 cards in the dealer hand, and that looks pretty good. There's 2 things that I want to change here. One is that you can see that both of the cards are black, even though we know that in playing cards, so hearts and diamonds are going to be red. Okay, and for that purpose, what I've done is I've added here in the CSS, I've added this styling condition based on an attribute called data red. So data is a way that you can add different, pieces of information to an element that won't be displayed anywhere, but they can be used to store information, an element to be used in situations like this. You just have to make sure to start the attribute with the keyword data. And basically what we need to do is we need to create a condition that if this hand is either hearts or diamonds, that we will add that that data point will be true. Okay, data red will be true. Okay, so what we can do here, after we tell say that the inner HTML is equal to card, we can check and see if the card has a diamond or a heart. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to say card 1. Okay, so card 1 will be the second out of the 2. So here we have 8 of spades, so a spade will be 1 and 8 would be 0 in terms of breaking down a string. Okay, so if that is equal to diamond, so I'm going to take our diamond string from up here, or if card 1 is equal to hearts, and I'm going to take here our heart character from up here. Okay, then what we're going to do is add, okay, so and this stuff will only happen if both of these are true. And then what will happen here basically is we will say new card dot set attribute data red, not red, to true. Okay, and let's try running our code now. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to run our code, and we can see, okay, so hearts is red, but I see diamonds are not red. So what I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to put these in parentheses, just that we make it clear that this, we're trying to say this or this, and not this or all of this, okay? And parentheses basically tells our computer how to read that line of code. So I'm going to save that and try running it again. And we can see that it's working for both. It's working for hearts and diamonds, but the 10 of diamonds it's not working for. And if we take a look at our code, we can see that this is probably because of how we conditioned this. Okay, so we told card 1. So for a string that's 3 characters long, card 1 will actually be this. So what we want is it's not card 1, but we actually want the last character in the string. So in order to do that, we can basically tell it that we want card.length -1. Okay, and this will always give us, because these measurements start from 0. So let's say if the card length is 2, and then we take off 1, then that will be 1. And if the card length is 3 and we take off 1, that'll be 2. Either way, it'll always be the symbol. Okay. So let's try that again. And I'm going to save the code and run. And we may have to run a few times before a 10 comes up. And you saw it before. Okay, right? So we had 10 of hearts and it was red. So we're in a good situation now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to copy this code. And I'm going to put it over here. And just instead of dealer hand, I'm going to say player hand. And instead of dealer, I'm going to say player. And save that and run. And now you can see we're dealing 2 hands to the dealer and the player. Okay. So if you're thinking to yourself now that I just copied this huge block of code, so I'm actually getting quite repetitive here, and what we could really do is just change this into one single function that changes basis on certain parameters. So at this point you'd be right, but there's actually one more thing that I want to do, which would make that a little harder, and that is that we want to hide one of the dealer's cards. Okay, so at the moment we're saying that this new card, the inner HTML, should be equal to card. Okay, but what we also want to do is that we want to check if we want to basically hide the card if it's the first card. Okay, so what we can do here is we can say, let's add a condition. So let's say if this new card, so basically we want to find if this is the index of 0. Okay, so in the for each function, we can actually we could use index here as well. Okay, and that will tell us the index of the current item in the array that we are looping through. And we can say that if index is equal to 0, then we will say new card dot class list dot add, and here I'm going to add the class list of back. The class of back. Okay, and you can see back here is basically just to give it content, no content, and the background color will be green. Okay, so if we are going to run our code now, so we can run there, and you can see that one of the cards is hidden. Okay, and we'll deal with how we flip that over later on. Okay, but for now, our cards are both hidden. Okay, so great. We accomplished what we wanted to do, which is deal out both hands. And the next thing that we're going to be doing is working on this hit button. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. and you will get a notification as soon as the next video comes out, and I hope to see you there.